It is International Overdose Awareness Day, a day to shed light on the tragedy of drug overdoses and educate ourselves on the importance of prevention. I sat down with the president and CEO of Gateway Foundation, Jeremy Komlansky, to hear about ways that there is help out there to save lives.
Where we stand is people are dying, and a lot of other people are becoming dependent on opioids. And you know, any overdose is devastating to a family, friends, community, but the aggregate numbers are still going up in a lot of communities, and that's a real concern.
Do we know why?
Well, the overdose numbers that are going up are largely attributed to the fact that we have fentanyl and other, designer analogs mixed in. So, you know, what people think they're ingesting as heroin is not really heroin. But we're also seeing some, alarming numbers as it relates to what we refer to stimulant use disorder. We're seeing that cocaine fentanyl is being mixed with cocaine, and so those overdoses are going up in most parts of the country where we serve.
So what is it that people don't get? The misconceptions about drug use and abuse and other such. What do people not get about that?
Well, the first thing is that there's no real such thing as safe use anymore, because any drug supply can be tainted. So that's the first thing, is that none of the substances are really safe. There are things we can do to be safer. So for example, using fentanyl test strips. We encourage people to think about not using alone, use with a partner. There are also organizations out there where you can call and someone will stay on the phone with you, and if you stop being responsive, they'll call 911. So we're really encouraging people to think about any drug use as potentially lethal, because you don't know what you're putting in your body. And so that's, I think, the biggest thing, is this idea that, oh, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm using, I've bought from this dealer before. Well, that doesn't mean that dealer's supply is stable or safe, if you will. And so any use could be fatal today.
That's interesting that you encourage them to, if you're going to do this, do it safely. Is that a new approach?
So it's a newer approach for some folks, but harm reduction's been around for a long time.
Okay.
We don't want people to use substances that hurt them, but if they're going to, we'd rather that they put resources around themselves so that if they do have an overdose, there's someone to call 911. There's someone nearby who's trained in how to use Narcan. All of these things are just little steps that people can take to try to save a life potentially. And the idea for us, we focus at Gateway Foundation on helping people find recovery, but we can't do that if someone dies. And so we do encourage people to think about safer consumption, so that we have a chance to work with them if at some point they want that. And if they don't choose to want to be free of using illicit substances, then at least they're at less of a risk of dying, because our community, we need everybody. We need our families to be intact. And a lot of people who practice safer use or harm reduction over time will find their way to treatment, or will find their way to a healthier life.
Okay, so look at the bigger picture here. What, in your opinion, can governments and cities and other municipalities do to try to stem or address this crisis on a larger scale?
So we need to really be focused on access, okay? It's not enough to say, oh, well, we have a treatment center. Well, does that treatment center have all the resources it needs? It's not enough to say we have a harm reduction provider on the street. We need to ask, do they have enough money to give out all the resources they need? Do they have enough people to do the outreach on the street? Do they need another vehicle to serve another community? We need to ask, do these organizations have the resources that they need? And I happen to know from working with a lot of them that the answer is no. Most of the organizations that we work with have building plans that are on hold, have staffing positions that go unfilled because they can't pay competitively. And so I think what government could do is say to the organizations that they support, what do you need resource-wise to be able to reach more people?
All right, and then what can people do so that they can stay engaged beyond this awareness day? So
what we can all do is, if we know somebody who's struggling with substance use, we can reach out. Connection is a huge part of helping people either remain in recovery or help find recovery. Just knowing that somebody else cares and will check on you. Be willing to set aside your own choices. I may choose not to use illicit substances, but I want to try not to judge somebody who does so that I can be a helpful support to them. I want them to know that I care. I want them to know that they can call me if they have too much to drink or if they use a substance or they're thinking of using substance. I want them to know that they can call me and I'll come get them, or I'll stay on the phone with them, or I'll just be there to support them while they try to get through what they're getting through, but also so that they know that there's somebody that really cares about them.
And also, if they need help, they can also turn to Gateway.
They can always call Gateway. And if for whatever reason we don't have what you need, we're also more than happy to help people connect with other services.
All right, call Gateway Foundation's 24-hour hotline, which is right there on your screen, or you can visit them online at gatewayfoundation.org.